Her arms had stopped feeling anything at mile 900. The crew was in tears. The doctor said her body was shutting down. She looked at him, nodded, and slid back into the black water. Day 1. You stand on a boat ramp at 4 a.m. The Pacific is black and cold and endless. 900 miles of coastline stretch ahead of you, not as a metaphor, as a swim. Your support captain, a sun-cracked man named Davies who's crewed for a dozen endurance athletes, watches you stretch. He writes something on a scrap of paper and folds it into his jacket. 3 days. That's his bet. You hit the water and the cold takes your breath like a fist. The first stroke hurts. The second hurts. By the 100th, something shifts. Your body stops screaming and starts negotiating. It whispers, just today, just finish today, and you do. You pull yourself onto the boat at dusk, shaking. 11 miles done. 889 to go. Davies hands you broth without a word. His eyes say what his mouth doesn't. She won't last the week. Week 1 passes. You learn that 900 miles is not one decision. It is 900 decisions. Every morning, the same negotiation. The body says no. The ocean says nothing. It doesn't care either way, and you slide in. Again. Davies starts a logbook. Stroke rate, distance, rest intervals. By day 5, he notices something that makes him tap his instruments and frown. Your stroke rate isn't declining, it's climbing. You don't know about the logbook. You don't know Davies is watching you like a problem he can't solve. All you know is the water, the cold, the rhythm. Stroke, breathe, Your world shrinks to 6 feet of ocean in every direction. And inside that tiny world, something is growing quiet. The voice that used to scream quit every morning is getting softer. Not gone, just tired of being ignored.
Day 12, Davies radios you during a rest float. How's the shoulder? You know what he's really asking. You've seen the others, the ones who smiled through week 1, then crumbled at week 2 when the adrenaline burned off and all that remained was the grind. The shoulder's fine, you say. Ask me something harder. He clicks off the radio. You hear him laugh. It's the first time.
Day 18. You surface for a breath and the sky is wrong. Green-black clouds stacked like bruises on the horizon. The wind shifts. Davies's voice crackles over the radio, urgent now, no laughter. Storm system moving in fast. I'm calling a pause. Get on the boat. You look at the clouds. You look at the water. You feel the current changing under you like something alive waking up.
You look at Davies across 30 feet of churning water. His face is practical, certain. Stop. Wait. Be smart. And you hear yourself say words you didn't plan. Every day I stop is a day I have to decide to start again. I'd rather not give myself the choice. Then you pull your goggles down and go under. Davies watches your cap disappear into the gray chop. He doesn't radio again.
That night, Davies sits alone in the cabin. He replays her words. Every day I stop is a day I have to decide to start again. He thinks about his own life, the marriage he let erode by taking breaks from trying. The business he paused and never restarted. He looks at the folded bet in his jacket pocket. 3 days. She's on day 18, swimming through a storm, because stopping costs more than continuing ever could. Here is what no one tells you about sustained commitment. Neuroscience research on habit and endurance has revealed something extraordinary. The brain physically restructures itself around repeated behavior. Neural connections that go unused weaken. They lose their insulation, their signal strength, their speed. Meanwhile, the circuits you fire again and again are reinforced, myelinated, made faster. Your brain rewires around your choices. The longer you commit, the quieter the quitting voice becomes. Not because you're tougher, because your biology adapts to your decisions. You are not fighting willpower every morning. You are training your nervous system to stop offering the exit. Day after day, the door marked quit gets harder to find. Not locked, just forgotten. That is what's happening inside your skull right now on day 18, swimming through a storm you chose not to pause for. Day 34. A marine biologist named Chen joins the support crew to document the physiological effects. She's quiet, precise, fascinated. She clips sensors to you during rest stops, takes blood, measures everything. You barely notice you're somewhere else now. Somewhere between the pain and the rhythm, a place that didn't exist on day 1. A place you built stroke by stroke. Chen watches your data and starts calling colleagues.
Day 61. Chen pulls Davies aside. She shows him a graph on her tablet, a curve that should be declining but isn't. Her body stopped fighting the water, Chen says, tracing the line with her finger. Look at the lactate. Look at the cortisol. She's not enduring anymore. She's collaborating with it. Her physiology adapted to something we thought was purely mental. Davies stares at your distant figure, small against miles of coastline. He reaches into his jacket.
He pulls out the folded paper, 3 days, written in his own hand 2 months ago. He tears it in half, then again, lets the pieces fall into the Pacific. Chen watches him. What was that? She asks. Davies doesn't answer right away. When he does, his voice is rough. A bet I made against someone I didn't understand yet. He grips the railing and watches you swim. Mile 700 and something, still choosing.
Day 89. Your shoulder finally tears. Not a metaphor, a partial rotator cuff tear that makes your left arm feel like it's filled with broken glass. The doctor on the support boat says stop. Chen's data says stop. Davies says nothing. He just looks at you. Waiting, you know what stopping means. It means waking up tomorrow and deciding again. It means finding that door your brain already forgot. You tape the shoulder. You choose the water. The last day, mile 900, no crowd, no cameras, no finish line tape, just ocean turning to shallows, turning to sand under your feet. You stand up in waist-deep water and walk the last 20 steps to shore. Your legs shake, your shoulder screams, and you turn around, face the Pacific that held you for 3 months. It doesn't applaud, it just keeps being the ocean. But you are not what you were when you entered it. So let me ask you something. What's your mile 900? Not the dramatic sacrifice, not the single heroic moment. The thing you keep choosing every morning. When the alarm fires and the bed is warm and nobody would blame you for stopping. 900 miles is not one decision. It is the same decision made until your brain forgets there was ever another option. You don't become unbreakable in a moment. You become unbreakable in the repetition. The daily return to the water. You don't find out what you're made of at the beginning. You find out at mile 900 when every reason to stop is true and you choose the water anyway. Subscribe to forge your iron mindset. The iron mindset.